Well, both players will be very pleased with the way they're getting out of these snookers, and Ronnie will be absolutely delighted with that one. Both players from one end of the table to the other, eyeing this up. I think there's just an edge of this yellow sticking out. Didn't guarantee safety though, and this red's on. I bet Judd can't believe that the red has not gone to the side cushion.
Well, I think you're getting excited with the tension, John. It's the yellow.
The yellow. You know what I mean.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's lovely cut of the yellow and control the cue ball really well. There's 1 point in front. It's a natural angle to pot the green and get around off 2 cushions for the brown to the left corner. Doesn't have to do a lot with the cue ball here.
Well, was that a bad contact? That green seems to straighten up a little bit to me there. Very surprising miss.
Yeah, you wouldn't have expected him to, even if he did miss it, to miss it by that far. The green's come away from the pocket.
Well, I think this frame now is doubly important for Judd Trump, because Ronnie O'Sullivan had a great opportunity there to win the frame. It's 26th minute. "32 minutes is the longest. Ronnie just trying to put distance between cue ball and object ball there. But he'll know that he's missed a great opportunity to have a 4-frame advantage at the end of this session. Just get through to the green. No attempt at the pot, just the safety. And the nudge off the black hasn't made it a worse shot.
Again, these shots, whatever Judd chooses to play, just beware of the double kiss.
Thin, and that's why he's got too much pace in the cue ball. Shake of the head there from Ronnie, so it's decision time. And you feel he could go for the green and hold for the brown, but playing at that pace, if the green doesn't go in, he could leave it. So that's why he refused the pot. He'll be looking for the pink as a snookering ball now, because he's shorter pace and there is a gap, and Judd Trump can get through to possibly pot this green. Didn't attempt it, played the safety, and in all fairness, it's not a good one. If you're going to elect to play safe, you need to get it safe. Well, he's played it that way. He's played it with enough pace to bounce on and off the baulk cushion. Desperately looking to see if it's straight. If it's straight, then Judd can't pot the green and get position on the brown. If it's just off straight, maybe he might go for it. too straight. That's why he's played the safety. Another 6 inches, and it would have been a very telling safety, but Ronnie can get to the cue ball comfortably. Once again trying to stun behind the brown. It's always risky though, because you don't really have a lot of control of the green. He may have left Judd a chance here. I don't know whether the green cuts into the middle pocket or he can see enough of it to play that cut.
A little bit fortunate there, Ronnie.
Wow, that's amazing, Stephen, isn't it? Once again, if you're going to play safe, you've got to get it safe. At this level, he'll be lucky to get another chance in this frame now, Judd. Ronnie still needs up-tune, including the pink. Oh, would you believe that? What a let-off.
There's pressure out there now, isn't there?
Where's the cue ball going? Oh! It is. This frame now has taken on massive importance. I'd say particularly for Judd Trump, but I think he's beginning to show on Ronnie now. He knows what an opportunity he's missed twice to take a 4-frame advantage, and he's left this green on. He's left it on. Same applies for Judd, up to and including the pink.
In this World Championship, I've seen Ronnie O'Sullivan under pressure. Would never have expected him to miss that green. And proceeded to play a very poor safety.
Well, this is a big frame, and Judd Trump will be mighty relieved to have won it. Ronnie O'Sullivan had 2 golden opportunities, but twice he missed easy greens, and in the end Judd Trump shakes Ronnie O'Sullivan's hand. Ronnie O'Sullivan is still 2 frames ahead, but it should have been 4, and Judd Trump can take that into the next session. He should be delighted with the outcome. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads Judd Trump at the end of the second session by 9 frames to 7.
Oh, it could so easily have been 10-6, gentlemen, and I wonder how both will reflect on that 16th frame, Steve.
Well, it's very unusual to see tension in the arm of Ronnie O'Sullivan, but I think we did with that green, and a little bit of annoyance at the end, the way that he'd thrown it away in his own eyes. He had great chances on the colours, some great safety, and Judd Trump was clinging on by his fingernails at one stage. How he's got away with that, really. He was a bit fortunate in many respects. Lots of different twists and turns in the tactical department, but Ronnie O'Sullivan had the best of it, and the fact he didn't convert will be a frustration.
Yeah, he was rocking a bit at the end, as you saw. Ken, I think that the fascination for many people will be that not a single century break in this one. I think many people had predicted a lot, but still great entertainment for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 16 frames, not a single century between them, which is very, very unusual. However, on the other hand, we've had a lot of tension, as the lad said in commentary, and highly entertaining, like, maturity from both players, and really fantastic safety, particularly in that last frame, and particularly from Judd Trump. And even though Ronnie totally dominated that little sort of sequence of shots on the colours from yellow onwards, Judd Trump showed a lot of patience and a lot of maturity. Maybe 6 months, 12 months or even 18 months ago, he wouldn't have had the patience. He would have lost that frame an awful lot earlier, but he refused a few pots. He got out of a couple of very difficult snookers, And then it boiled down to that little bit of tension that Ronnie agreeing that Ronnie will certainly be irked at missing a straightforward pot like that.
And as a contest, that 16th frame's so important, Steve.
Yes, because we know full well that Judd could come out this evening and bash a couple of quick frames away, and it's 9-all again.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we've been fascinated by what we've been seeing out there. We've also been intrigued by the comments in the last few hours of Ronnie O'Sullivan. Once again, it has certainly galvanised the press room. Acres of coffee have been generated down there, and Rob Walker has been canvassing opinion for us.
Well, there's still so much being written about and spoken about the Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan. Andy Dillon of The Sun is alongside me, along with Philip Studd from 5 Live. Andy, let's start with you. Any fatigue from the newspapers at all, or are you absolutely loving this story?
All I'll say, Rob, is when he announced his retirement the other night, I didn't have to do a big rewrite. I just copied and pasted last year's story straight to the computer and changed the date. So we've heard it all before. I mean, he says he's quitting almost as often as Mourinho says how popular he is in England, doesn't he? But he's box office for us. I mean, he got snooker on the back page of The Sun this week, and Barry Hearn won't be complaining. When he gets people talking about snooker, Barry Hearn's happy, everybody should be happy, The Sun's happy.
Is there any sense at all that, from your perspective, that the public are getting a little bit tired of hearing the same story?
I don't know about tired, but I don't think they believe it all. I mean, and the bookies certainly aren't taking much notice of it. I think they're already laying really short odds on him being back at the Crucible again next season. But the public, they probably like to talk about it as well. They'll all be in the pubs around Sheffield saying, is Ronnie going to be back next year? It gives them something to talk about and digest and debate. I mean, nobody wants to know everything in sport, do we? It's boring if you do.
Philip, let's talk about that fascinating session this morning. What a huge frame for Judd to nick at the end.
Enormous, seismic, choose your adjective. I mean, the difference between 10-6 and 9-7 is huge in a match like this. I think if O'Sullivan had gone 4 clear, that would probably been game over, quite frankly. Very difficult to retrieve. As it is, 9-7, the match is still very much in the balance. It was a super tense session, particularly the first 4 frames before the interval. I mean, I was nervous watching it. Goodness knows what it was like being out there contesting it. But I think Trump has to start cutting out some of the errors he's made. On a number of occasions, he was in first with a frame-winning opportunity. He didn't take it. He missed a relatively routine ball, and O'Sullivan punished him. He's still in the match, having taken that last frame, but he's got to cut out those errors. Otherwise, it's going to be very tough to beat O'Sullivan.
Well, it's going to be a great next session to watch. Thanks very much, guys. We just can't stop talking about the Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan here in the press room.
As indeed can we all, Rob, yeah. Has Ronnie squandered, perhaps, some of the goodwill that was generated towards him because of the magnitude of this task he was taking on and the subsequent comments thereafter?
Well, I'm unsure of, like, the time, and that's what I'm a little bit surprised about, because, in a way, it might put actually extra heat on him. Now, whether he likes that and welcomes that heat on him, I think sometimes when, you know, you have a lot of that stuff in the papers, there's a lot more attention on you. I'd be rather sort of deflecting attention away and just try and concentrate in the match. It might put extra pressure on him, or remains to be seen. Maybe he loves that type of situation, you know.
But there was one comment that he has to fulfil 10 tournaments or something, so that makes a mockery of what he then said in the press conference, but who knows?
Who knows indeed. I think we'll be talking about it for some time as well, gentlemen. All right.